Western, they're awaiting the latest monetary policy decision from the Reserve Bank of Australia later today. And policymakers, they're expected to extend a rate pause. New Zealand also moving lower, while South Korea's Kospi is up by more than 0.5%. And that's as price pressures are easing over there. Inflation in the country slowed for a third straight month in April. And this gives the central bank more flexibility to shift its monetary policy if needed. Consumer prices advanced 3.7% on year last month, in line with estimates. It also returns to the slowest pace since January 2022. A core inflation, which excludes volatile oil and agricultural prices, that one rose 4.6% from a year ago. Now, analysts say the figures should provide the Bank of Korea with more leeway to pivot towards rate cuts if needed in the months ahead. Markets are currently pricing in at least 2 rate cuts for South Korea in the next 2 years, and the first reduction is expected to come in as early as this year. Policymakers held interest rates for a second straight meeting in April, noting risks to the economy, including slower global demand. And I'll be back with more in the next hour. Meantime, you can get your business updates across all of our CNA platforms here on Asia First TV, on Radio CNA 938, and on digital cna.asia/business. Julian City, back to you.
Liz, thank you so much. Coming up on Asia First, the U.S. estimates that more than 100,000 Russians have died with the battle for the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut in the last 5 months.
We'll speak with Chair of NATO's Military Committee, Admiral Rob Bauer, for more on the war in Ukraine, as well as the alliance's role in the world.
Warm memories wherever you go. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways. The weather, sponsored by Qatar Airways.
The ideas, aspirations and attitudes of Singaporeans are changing the nation that raised them.
Passionate Singaporeans living out their very ambitious dreams.
We're looking to write a story of greatness of extraordinary people impacting communities.
I guess a part of me wanted to connect even deeper with the people.
There's no point playing it safe. Safe will always be forgotten.
If we as Singaporeans are able to have a satellite that we can truly say was conceived, designed, engineered and built in Singapore, wow, how wonderful would it be?
In Singapore, we don't give up.
Aging population, falling birth rate, shrinking labor force, Japan's biggest challenges since World War II. I'm Michio Ishida, CNA, Tokyo.
It's 8:30 Singapore, Hong Kong time.
Here's another look at our top stories. The U.S. President Joe Biden reiterates America's commitment to the security of the Philippines amid growing concerns about Beijing's increasing assertiveness over Taiwan and the South China Sea.
The United States remains ironclad in our commitment to the defense of the Philippines, including the South China Sea.
There are geopolitical issues that have made the region where the Philippines is possibly, arguably, the most complicated geopolitical situation in the world right now. And so it is only natural that for the Philippines to look to its sole treaty partner.
The UN warns that the humanitarian crisis in Sudan is turning into a full-blown catastrophe. Up to 800,000 could flee the country as chaos spills over Sudan's borders.
It was a roller coaster ride of emotions when we were trying to get out of Khartoum. It's so quiet when we came here. It's the first time, one of the rare moments wherein I woke up feeling like I don't hear gunshots.
Plus, close to 300 people arrested after clashes erupted at May Day protests across France. Anger hitting a boiling point over controversial pension reforms to raise the retirement age. The U.S. estimates that Russia has suffered more than 100,000 casualties in the last 5 months amid the battle for the Ukrainian city of Bakhmut. And just to clarify, that number includes those both wounded and killed.
Citing newly declassified intelligence, Washington adds that on top of those losses, Russia's Bakhmut offensive has stalled.
The only area where Russia has made some incremental gains, and I want to focus on the word incremental, is in Bakhmut. And that really holds, as we've said before, very little strategic value for Russia. The capture of Bakhmut would absolutely not alter the course of the war in Russia's favor. And Ukraine's defenses in the areas surrounding Bakhmut still remain strong.
Of those Russian casualties, more than 20,000 were killed in action. The U.S. says about half of those were soldiers recruited by the paramilitary firm Wagner, and that many of them were convict conscripted without sufficient training. Wagner's head has also blamed the Russian Defense Ministry for insufficient support provided to his troops. He's now again appealing for more ammunition as his fighters attempt to seize Bakhmut.
Артиллерийских боеприпасов и боеприпасов ближнего боя 300 тонн в сутки – это 10 загруженных контейнеров. Это очень немного. Если мы возьмем условную 30-тысячную группировку, 300 тонн в сутки артиллерийских припасов, которые требуются, 10 килограмм на человека в день. Нам дают не более 1/3.
In other parts of Ukraine, Russia has unleashed a series of missile strikes. It had set off huge fires in the eastern city of Pavlora, causing damage to dozens of homes and more casualties. The attack is part of a second wave of nationwide attacks in 3 days. Experts say Moscow seems to be reviving its winter tactic of long-range strikes ahead of a planned Ukrainian counteroffensive.
Shelby Wilder in Kyiv details the extent of the damage incurred by both sides in the ongoing war.
Russian authorities have said that they are seeing an increase in sabotage and attacks in this region that they claim to have been carried out by pro-Ukrainian groups. But just within the last few days alone, there's been an increase of attacks from both sides, Russia and Ukraine, really as this Ukrainian counteroffensive looms. Another example of this was over the weekend. Ukraine carried out drone strikes in Russian-occupied Crimea on a Russian fuel depot there, and Russia has since retaliated by carrying out attacks across Ukraine. Russia launched 18 missiles at Ukraine. Ukraine's air defense said that they shot down 15 out of 18 of these missiles, but air raid sirens were activated across most of Ukraine, with civilians being told to seek shelter. And tracer fire could be seen lighting up the skies over Kyiv, and explosions were audible in the nation's capital. And the missiles that managed to evade the Ukrainian air defense hit the city of Pavlorad in the Dnipro region in eastern Ukraine. Now, Russia says that it was striking a Ukrainian ammunition depot and warehouse there, but also missiles hit civilian buildings. The latest reports saying that 34 people, including children, have been injured there.
And as Ukraine's crucial spring offensive nears, American and NATO allies have supplied Kyiv with extensive artillery and ammunition for the upcoming battle. The Security Alliance says Ukraine